Hello, my name's Ken Kinter. I'm an assistant professor at Rutgers University. The purpose of this presentation is to discuss motivational interviewing. This is part 3 of a 3-part series of videos. This one's on sustain and change talk. If you haven't caught the first 2 videos, you might want to do that first. I don't know if this one will make too much sense without it. And as always, my contact information is on this front slide. Don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions. Before we get started, I want to give some credit where credit is due. I am part of the State Hospital Psychiatric Rehabilitation Initiative. This is an effort between Rutgers University and the New Jersey Department of Health to improve care and conditions in New Jersey state psychiatric hospitals. That's for patients and for staff. Without the generous assistance from the Department of Health, we would not be able to be doing our mission. So we are very grateful for their assistance. So if you've watched the previous videos, video number 1 covered the spirit and method of motivational interviewing. Number 2 covered core skills and ORs. And this one covers sustain and change talk. Maybe at some point in the future, we'll add a few more on the end to get those additional steps, but this is what we have so far out of the 3 videos. So sustain talk and change talk. First major point of this video is that they are in fact connected. They're 2 sides of the same coin. Every time that you talk about change, your talk is either moving in the direction of change or moving away from change. And part of the art of motivational interviewing is being able to listen and catch the distinction between those 2 and call more attention to the change talk. Just by bringing more attention to it, by fostering that type of change talk, we move the process forward of change. So sustain talk, again, is any discussion about maintaining the status quo. So it's wanting things to stay the same, not being able to change things, reasons why change can't happen, the need and commitment. So if you see these words in red, desire, ability, reason, need, and commitment, you're going to see them again really soon. Change talk is talk about change. It used to be called self-motivational statements. That takes way too long. So change talk, literally just talk about change. And here are those words again. Change talk takes one of these types of forms. Desire to change, and you can see the verbs here, I want, I like, I wish. The ability to change, which are words like can and could. Reasons to change, now one's a little tricky. This is the person doesn't actually want the change, but they want something they can't get any other way. So popular example has been, you might get someone who doesn't want to stop smoking pot, but they'll lose their job if they test positive. So they don't really want to quit smoking pot, but they need to keep their job. So there's that other sort of reason. That's the trick of reason to change. It's almost like other reasons to change besides the actual change. And then the fourth is need to change. I need to, I have to, I've got to. This speaks more to pressure, either internal pressure to make a change or external pressure. Now it's interesting, when somebody's saying these things, I want to, I can, if I change this, I need to, these don't predict change. Commitment speech predicts change. When someone says, I'm going to. And as we've seen in some of the other materials that we cover, just because they're saying I'm going to doesn't mean it's going to happen right away either. Think about New Year's resolutions. For this year, I'm going to, this year, I'm going to. The research tells us people make the same resolutions 5 years in a row. So it speaks to how long this change process is. And that's from the commitment speech part. So, but the research does show that using commitment speech correlates with change, unlike the DARN, which we just saw. So this is the DARN-C. Motivational interviewing loves their acronyms. So let's do a quick check of change talk and see if you can detect what type of change talk each of these are. So the hint is the verb is the most important part. So look at the verb, the literal action word of what someone's saying. I think I could quit. I've got to do something about my drinking. I want to recover from my illness. So you hear those verbs in there? So this makes it a little easier. So here are your verbs. So I think I could quit. I think I could quit. Is that desire, ability, reason, need, or commitment speech? Could. That's ability. I've got to do something about my drinking. Desire, ability, reason, need, commitment. Got to. That sounds like need. I want to recover from my illness. Desire, ability, reason, need, commitment. Desire, want to. This next one, I want to get my kids back, and I can't do that unless I quit drinking. Okay, well, there's want to. That's desire, right? Not right. Does the person really want to quit drinking? No, they want their kids back. So that makes this reason. I'd like to have better control of my drinking. Like to. Desire, ability, reason, need, commitment. Like to is desire. Going to stop using. That's commitment speech. So as we've talked about advice already, can't reinforce it enough. This is really not the place to bring your professional or personal expertise. The tactic, as we talked about in the previous presentation, ask the person if they're interested in some information that's helped someone else in their situation. And then wait for the verbal or the nonverbal yes or no. A person, you may just see from the look on their face, it's not the right time. It doesn't mean that your advice isn't valuable, it's not helpful, it's just not the right time. When the person's ready to hear it, they'll either ask you for it or they'll say yes. And as we mentioned before, people need to be able to change. Motivational interviewing is geared toward people that are in these pre-action stages: pre-contemplation, contemplation, and preparation. If they're already in the action stage and they're ready to go, we don't need to do all this. I mean, it's still nice to get open-ended questions, but we can move right into these latter stages of motivational interviewing that have more to do with planning. So as we mentioned before, ChangeTalk and SustainTalk are very closely related. And part of the art of motivational interviewing is being able to tweeze them out from each other. You're familiar with the different types of ChangeTalk: desire, ability, reason, need, and commitment. And the verbs in what someone says gives it away pretty clearly. We're trying to keep the advice giving to a minimum and keep the focus on people in the pre-action stages. That's where motivational interviewing does its most good, and that's where most people are. So here are the resources that we got this information from. Give a shout out to Bill Miller, who created the original slide deck that this came from and gave it to us. If you have any questions about motivational interviewing, motivationalinterviewing.org is where you need to go. That is the clearinghouse for all things motivational interviewing, training, materials, all sorts of stuff. And you might want to catch the other videos in the series. If you haven't caught them, we have other ones on stages of change and on a variety of topics that are similar to this. So I definitely thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you get to catch another one like it very soon.